Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I am AdamMcKola. Hope you guys are all doing well. So, Ten Hag has had his press conference ahead of that game against Brentford at the weekend, and it feels weird. Second game week into the Premier League, and you kind of feel like this is a must-win for Manchester United. We've got some difficult games coming up, and we know we need to get off to a good start this season. And losing our first game at home against Brighton, you feel like United going away to Brentford, United have to get a result there. There's been a lot of talk about who will start for Manchester United, particularly in that position up front. Is Martial going to be fit? Is Cristiano Ronaldo going to start his first game of the season? Obviously came on as a substitute against Brighton. Ten Hag has been speaking about all those things in his press conference, and we'll get stuck into some of his quotes as well as predicting the team for that game against Brentford at the weekend. So let's get stuck into some of his quotes. He says, I know we have to win every game, and I know everyone expects us to win every game, so we have to deal with that. All I can do is prepare my team as well as I can, and I'm focusing on that. We learnt a lot from the first game, but it's normal when you start a season. Every season in that part is the same. You have a new start, you make mistakes. Football is a game of mistakes, so we know we have to improve in many factors. After every game, I analyse what went wrong and where we can improve, where we have to improve and how we have to train. We tell and show the players this too, to give them the solutions. He also spoke about the players available for the game, and he confirmed that Anthony Martial and Victor Lindelof would not be available for this game against against Brentford, sorry. So those two players will miss this game. Anthony Martial out with a hamstring injury again. Such unfortunate circumstances for him. It looked like he was going to start the season for Manchester United. I feel like that game against Brighton probably could have been a bit different if we had a striker up top, a natural striker up top. Anthony Martial was in good form in pre-season. That's not to say he would have scored a hat-trick and we would have won 4-0. But I feel like the result would have been different if we had a focal point to the attack. Ten Hag asked if he was on the same page with Manchester United's board in terms of transfer targets, and he said yes. He was asked whether he was confident the squad would be improved by the time the transfer window closes, and he said yes, he was confident that the transfer window would, that the squad would be improved by the time the transfer window closed. So that's what we heard from the manager. We also heard Cristiano Ronaldo had been training well and could be available to start this game. Whether he would or not remains to be seen. He kept his cards close to his chest. So who do we think is going to start in this game? There's been a lot of talk about who starts at centre-back. Obviously it wasn't a great defensive performance. Who starts at left-back? Whether Delot keeps his spot. Who goes in that midfield area? There's a lot of chat about all these different positions. And then further afield as well. There's chat about whether Rashford should start. Ronaldo should start. Loads of talk. Now what we know is David De Gea is going to start this game for Manchester United. We know that. The alternatives, Tom Heaton, I don't think that's going to happen. There's talk about United buying a better number 2 in this transfer window. If that happens, great stuff. I think De Gea needs competition. But let's wait and see whether that happens. We're struggling to do our other business at this moment in time. So I think David De Gea will start, keep his spot. Then when you're looking at the back 4, I think it'll be a back 4. And I think Delot will keep his spot simply because there's not really an alternative that Ten Hag seems to fancy. Ethan Laird looking like he's going to go out on loan. In fact, he's going out on loan to QPR. You've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka who seemingly is up for sale. So he feels like Delot will keep his spot, although it wasn't a great performance from him either at the weekend. Then at the heart of the defence, I think you've got Martinez who will keep his position. I think he was one of the bright lights from that game. I know he made a few mistakes, but there was a few things where you looked at and you thought that's really good, especially his control with the ball, bringing it out, his passing, his distribution, etc. So I think Martinez will keep his spot. I think Tyrell Malacia will come in for Luke Shaw, who will play at the heart of defence alongside Lisandro Martinez. Now I kind of feel the manager might give Harry Maguire another chance, but if Raphael Varane is fit, in my opinion, Raphael Varane needs to start in this game. Maguire simply wasn't good enough the other day. If there was alternatives for Delot and De Gea, maybe you could suggest them, but I just don't think there's any viable alternatives. There's an alternative for Maguire screaming you in the face. Now I know Lindelof's injured, so maybe that could affect it. You know, if we have an injury to Martinez or Varane, you have to bring Maguire in. Do you want to bring a player in who's just been dropped? Maybe not. But for me, you've got to start getting ruthless and make people fight for their spots, whether you're captain or not. I mean, in my opinion, if Varane's fit, you play him. Now, obviously, the manager is trying to be building up Varane so that he can keep fit for a sustained period of time. And that's why I say if he's fit enough, you play him. Simple as that. Because what we've seen recently hasn't been good enough. Then in the midfield, look, we haven't got many opportunities outside of Fred and McTominay. I think you've got to change something now. You can't go too attacking and pick Bruno and Eriksen. I would go Fred. You can't get away from one of them, unfortunately. James Garner, give him an opportunity. And I'd go with... You can either go with Eriksen or Bruno. I just feel Eriksen's probably not fit enough. I wouldn't mind seeing Eriksen play. If he's fit enough to start, I'd start him because I don't think Bruno's performance was good enough either. But I just think Bruno will have the fitness and will be given, you know, there won't be that many changes in the team. So Bruno starts, but I wouldn't mind seeing Christian Eriksen. And then in the front three, I'd go Sancho, Rashford. Again, you could change Rashford if you want, but I don't know if Garnacho's ready. Sancho, Rashford, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Simple as that. We can't be playing without a focal point. We can't be playing without a striker. Now, whether he's up to date with what the manager wants from him remains to be seen. I know it doesn't send a great message, but you have to go with what you've got. And maybe when Martial comes back, you put Martial back in the team if you want to send a message to Ronaldo. But right now, we need a striker. We can't go with that false nine situation. Maybe you could put Rashford through the middle, Garnacho on the left, but you know, Rashford's looking out of form in terms, like, you know, you need him to get his confidence back. Sticking him up front where he's expected to score. If he doesn't score and then you've got the Ronaldo factor, I'd rather not see that happen. So that's the team I'd go with. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's just recap that. David De Gea in goal, Dalot, Tyrell Malacia, Martinez and Varane. Then I've gone with Fred, Garner, Eriksen, if fit enough, but I think Bruno will probably play. And then you've got, obviously, Sancho, Ronaldo and Marcus Rashford. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you change something from that? Have I been too harsh on some people? Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you're keeping it locked, you're liking, commenting, sharing, all that jazz as well. Big game for Manchester United this weekend. We'll obviously have reaction to the game as well from myself on this channel. So get hitting the subscribe button for that. Get liking the video. We'll be live over on Paddock for the game as well. So join us there for the watch along. Until then, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.